Hi, folks. Welcome back to That Hashtag Show. This is the Tom C., your resident Ranger writer. And with me, I have Steve Cardenas today.
Hey,
Steve,
you got the name right.
Of course.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you. Hashtag, what's up, man? How you guys
much?
doing?
We're doing great. How about you? How is it with your coming back to New York Comic Con this year?
Oh, man. I'm so happy to be back out there meeting the fans again, for that year and a half or whatever that, it was so limited in what we could do as far as like events and whatnot. It was, you know. But for me, it's like I'm not feeling myself if I can't be out here doing these events and meeting the fans and stuff like that. So it was rough for me for that couple of years. But now we're back. I feel good. It's all good. And specifically, I live in London now.
Oh, wow.
And so coming back to the States to do an event is pretty cool because I'm usually doing a lot of shows in England and Europe and stuff like that right now.
Fantastic. Now, I got to ask you one odd question.
Okay.
Now, there was a little bit of a scuffle a few weeks ago between a Red Ranger and a Blue Ranger.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now,
I watched
you've
that fight.
worn both colors.
Yeah.
In fact, you have a very neat take on it. How do you think the fight went down?
Well, in my professional opinion, I had thought that since Mike had more experience in the cage, that he would have done better. I knew Blake had the size, so I didn't know what to expect. For me, it was a coin toss, but I had thought that Mike had a little bit more of, favor. You know what I mean? Like, what? How do you say it? What's the underdog or whatever?
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. I figured Blake was a little bit more of the underdog just because he didn't have as much experience. But wow, I don't know what to say, man. I was shocked. Shook up the world.
It was a great fight.
Yeah, it was
for
a great
both
fight.
of them.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen everything that's been going on right now in the comic books. Ryan, I spoke with Ryan a few weeks ago, Ryan Parrott, and he mentioned that you got kind of a little bit of a nod in the comic in issue 10.
Okay.
Talking about how at some points you kind of felt like Rocky was playing second fiddle because of the White Ranger stuff. Did you actually see there was a nod in there to you about that?
Yeah, the story, the show never touched on a lot of that kind of stuff, the show, it just seemed like, we instantly came in, we took over, and, we were instantly accepted by the other crew and stuff, and we just never, touched on anything. I think the one that kind of touched on it once in Zeo, when they had the arc where the Gold Ranger came back, and Austin was the Gold Ranger, and then, everybody was like, hey, the Gold Ranger's taking over, and now all of a sudden Rocky felt like, he had to try to do something to step his game up, or he felt like he was going to lose his gig,
Exactly.
So they did touch on it once a little bit, but they could have done a lot more with that, and that's why I like Boom Studios, because they really kind of delve into those kind of insecurities that people generally have that were not really being displayed in the TV show, and so I thought that was kind of cool. And what was also cool is, those guys actually reached out to me for insight, because I would tell them like, Rocky's character, he came like, he was like it was a single family home. He was just his mom. And then he was like the oldest of a bunch of younger kids. And he was like, had to watch them all the time, as well as try to do his schoolwork, as well as try to save the world, as well as try to teach his karate classes after school and all that stuff. So, they kind of looked to me for some insight on some things and to help push the storyline along, which I thought was pretty cool.
So what about one other big bombshell that happened, that Lord Zedd is Zordon's former mentor?
Whoa, okay. Now that I did not know. That's really cool.
It sounds like you got to play a little catch up there.
Well, yes, I know I do. Unfortunately, and I love Boom Studios and I love what they're doing. I just haven't had the time to catch up with all of the stories that are going, especially with all the splinters of all the different factions and stuff. It's hard to keep up, but I'm really grateful for what they're doing, because it's really, catering to the fan that's out there now that, in my opinion, matters, which is the older fan, who liked it when they were younger, but now they want to see something different, and Boom is doing that for them.
Wonderful. Well, Steve, thank you so much for taking time out to see us.
Always good to talk to you guys. That hashtag show. What's up, Ranger fans? This is Steve Cardenas, a.k.a. Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and you are watching and listening to That Hashtag Show. More foul.
Thanks so much, folks.